Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Ruben Dario Chavez Jr., aka Ray Chavo. I'm breaking down the Euros groups, talking about who I think is going to progress out of each group, and maybe we'll touch on the third place finishes and kind of who the top four may be based on what I've said. Yeah, Group F, that's the last group. This group feels kind of simple in my mind, just based off off the talent of some teams and the pedigree and etc. etc. But there's still stuff to talk about. So this group features Portugal, Czechia, Georgia, and Turkey. I think the obvious place to start is Portugal. They're definitely the favorites in this group. And when you look at their lineup, you can see why. Diogo Costa, Cancelo, Pepe, Ruben Diaz, Nuno Mendes, Paulinho, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leao, Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, and that's not even talking about all the people that could come off the bench, like Gonzalo Ramos, Joao Felix. They're a deep team. They're a deep squad. They have a lot of opportunities to change up the shape and change up how they change the formation. My apologies. So to me, they are the third favorites in the tournament. I think that there is if Roberto Martinez, and I think that he's a key part of this. They qualified really well, won all their 10 games, and et cetera, et cetera. I If he can get the most out of the squad, if he can really make the tactical changes that he needs to game, and if he, again, he's traditionally a pretty like I don't know, he's a pretty conservative manager, but that doesn't mean that that works a lot. And I know that the most recent job he had before this is Belgium, and everyone's like, "We didn't get the most out of that generation." Sure, you could argue that he's learned from that, and Portugal is deeper than I think that Belgium team ever was. So that's just my opinion. Um, I do think that the added storyline of this being one of Ronaldo's last tournaments. I mean, it probably is his last international tournament. Ronaldo's pretty impressive and credible, but even if he does make it into the squad for World Cup 2026, it definitely probably won't be as a starter. I'm not going to say definitely, probably won't be as a starter. Um, just because, your body slows down. He's already playing in Saudi Arabia, so it's there's not a lot of football left in his body, but he's going to squeeze out everything he can. It is quite the luxury to be able to have one of the most prolific goal scorers as not the main man, but this team really does feel like it's going to be either Bernardo Silva's team or Bruno Fernandes's team, depending on the style of football that they want to play that day and just how they want to line up. I it, Bernardo Silva coming from that Manchester City possession, pass you to death, really control it, and like almost like a cobra, like wrap yourself around the team and squeeze the life out of them to create the chances. And then you have Fernandez, who is more likely to take a risk and is a little bit more long ball and can unlock things in a more adventurous way that is not always as secure, right? So it'll be interesting to see what style really wins out, and I'm sure it'll depend game to game. Their first match is against Czechia, so we can go into Czechia again. I don't want to be rude, and there is some talent here. Su Su Suchek is good. Schick is great. I I just don't think that they have enough talent just yet to make serious noise in this tournament or in the group. Um, but I could be wrong. And again, this is it's a common theme for most of these teams. They're well coached. They know kind of how to play and their formation really well. There's a lot of um, players who have been a part of the setup for a while, so that does add to it, and that adds to a bit of steel and a bit of continuation that makes it easy to see their game plan going in and out. They'll make things difficult. They're not going to be easy to break down, but I do think that a team like Portugal will not struggle to break them down. Czechia could easily be the second place team in this group, though, if things go the right way. And speaking on the second best team in the group, in my opinion, it has to be Turkey. Um, they've been popular dark horse picks for a while. For a while, um, I mean, they were dark horse picks back in 2020. Um, but they didn't do well. They crashed out. This is still a team that only conceded 7 goals in qualifying. However, they have a really strong defense and a strong spine. Adra Guler is incredible, and Kenan Yeldish is really great. There's a lot to like about Turkey, and there's a reason why people keep picking them as a dark horse. It does feel like this squad is primed. If you watched the friendly they had the other day, Adrian scored an absolute peach of a goal just outside the box, curled it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. He's got a lot of talent. This team has some talent. I do think they're the second best team in this group. If they can just channel some of that defensive steel and let those little bits of magic happen, they'll be in a good spot moving forward. Then, last one, Georgia. I like Georgia as like upsetters. I think it obviously is going to come down to Kvaratskhelia. Um, and that's a lot to put on someone's shoulder. Obviously, he's just one player, and that's where it'll begin, where we'll end. But you still have the Liga goalkeeper of the season, Georgi Mamardashvili. Dashvili? Butchered that name. Georgi Marmadashvili. And then at center back, their captain, Garum Kashia. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. This is their first European tournament, and I don't think a lot is expected of them in terms of making huge noise, obviously, because it's their first European tournament. But well drilled. They have some talent. Kvaratskhelia is a legit superstar. There's a reason why PSG won him. There's a reason why Napoli might be forced to sell him because of how great he is, and him wanting to progress his career, or maybe them just not having enough money to keep him, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I like Georgia being an upset pick. I do think that they might end up being the third team in this group, but let's get into that. So, the way that I see this group shaking out, I see it Portugal number one, Turkey number two, Georgia, and then Czechia. I'm giving a lot of respect to the Georgians. Now, part of that is like, who doesn't love underdog story? Who doesn't love um, a little bit of like a twist in the story. When it comes to who I think is going to make it through, I mean, when you look at the teams that I put in third, I put Romania in third, I put Georgia in third, put Denmark, I put Spain, Hungary, and Poland. A lot of good teams. I think ultimately Spain will qualify, so I had them going first. Like they'll be first of the third place teams. I do believe Hungary's going to get more points than people think. I think Switzerland's going to underwhelm in that group. Just a feeling. There's always a couple teams that don't do as well as you think. Denmark, I have as the third one. Again, that group is really open. I picked Slovenia to make it through, but in my mind, if Slovenia makes it through, it's because a lot of teams kind of cannibalize each other below England. So Denmark will definitely get a win. Um, Georgia is my fourth spot, and that's just I really believe in Kvaratskhelia. I think that their goalkeeping is solid and it's good, and if they can just have a little bit of moment of magic, that group is open. I like that group is more open than it should look to them. Um, I'm not super fond of the fact that Poland, who is my other team, um, Poland would probably be the biggest one that people will say is missing out in my team of the third crops. Robert Lewandowski not playing in the first game due to injury isn't great. The fact that he's going to be coming back from an injury in an international tournament isn't great. The fact that he sometimes underwhelms at international tournaments isn't great. So all of that I think will work against Poland. I picked them third in that group because I don't think Austria's going to get much joy, but they could easily be bottom, and I wouldn't be surprised. And Romania, again, I just think the talent gap is just too big. Georgia's my biggest surprise pick, I guess, and Hungary if you don't believe in what the Hungarians are doing and what they've been doing through the qualification. But that's just how I see that all shaking out. Let me know down below if you agree, if you disagree, if you think I'm the dumbest person in the world. But either way, let's get ready for some great European football. And then it's only a week until the Copa America starts, and we can do some stuff on that. But take care of yourself and stay watching the Euros.